What's up, everybody? Jed Johnson here from dieselcrew.com. Of course, you know they call me NAPALM. Hope your training's going well. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Share this around anywhere you can. Help me grow the channel. Trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. Growing at a snail's pace this month, but I do appreciate all the views, all the comments, the additional questions, things along those lines. The question today comes from Heath Watts. He's a subscriber at thegripauthority.com and has been for a while. He says, this was on, I can't even tell what video this is on, unfortunately, from the screenshot. But he says, I've looked through your videos and on the Grip Authority and I can't find what brand of chalk you prefer. Do you prefer a particular brand or are they all about the same? Because they are generally just magnesium carbonate. Thanks. So I have touched on this in a few spots, but I think they were on like interviews, and it's probably on TGA somewhere, but it's not like a video where I said the kind of chalk I prefer. It was probably mentioned somewhere else in a video about something different, and then I talked about the chalk. So I'm gonna let everybody know what I prefer the most. Before I get to that, just sent out the weekly newsletter, the GSI weekly newsletter. And I just wanted to run down the format of the newsletter for you. So, new updates. 1, NAPALM Nightmare World Championships went well. Thank you to everyone who promoted and competed. 1 new GSI contest has been announced for the 23-24 season, SGC4. Please see below. A really impressive prize package has been announced for Maryland's Strongest Hands. Be sure to check that out. John Fulver is going all out. And I mentioned that I have the 31 days of Q&A going on at my YouTube channel. If you'd like to submit a question, here's today's video. And it was the one on whether or not Shaq could lift the inch dumbbell. The next section in the newsletter each week is the upcoming Grip Sport International contest calendar. The next contest that we have going on is Gripping in the New Year, promoted by Amy Waddles, taking place Saturday, December 30th in Meridian, Idaho. And then we go into contests in the new calendar year. So if you would like to be added to that email list, all you need to do is send me an email, jedd.diesel@gmail.com, jed.diesel@gmail.com, and I will get you added. And that newsletter goes out every week, Thursdays at about 3 o'clock. Today I did it a little later because I was behind, and I didn't know if I was going to get it out by 3 o'clock. So I add people to the newsletter every week, and what I do is I keep a notes document here on my phone for Grip Sport newsletter, and anything new that comes out, if a contest is updated with new events, the prizes like John Fulver mentioned, new contests that are announced like Christoph Koch announced, all those things I just keep right here in a document, and then when it's time to write the email, I just copy it over from this document. In addition, I also have a separate notes document for new emails, and they get added each week as well, so that every time a newsletter goes out, if you're new to the list, you're going to see it. As long as sometimes I get on Thursday night, so you won't get that one, but anything from Thursday night all the way to Thursday morning, you're going to get it because I add emails in every week. So let's get right into the question. All chalk is not the same. I haven't done research like what's in these chalks, but it's almost like whether calcium or what is it, magnesium carbonate, whether there's like levels of purity to this stuff, whether there's filler added in, I don't know. But the one that I use has a completely different feel to it. You can feel that the block is heavier, and there's really no comparison as far as the performance that you get from it compared to just cheap stuff that's called gym chalk. okay? So I've used everything under the sun. For the longest time, there weren't a lot of different chalks out there, and it was all just the general generic chalk. One time back in like 2013, David Horn came out with his own chalk. He's like the pioneer of grip sport in the world. And I bought some of that. To me, it was too powdery and like almost like greasy feel. Like it would like mound up too much, and then that would be a problem. You don't want too much chalk on your hands or on the implement. For instance, when I see someone taking a block of chalk and scraping it up against an implement, like that's not how you want to do it. And I've got videos up on YouTube about how to properly chalk something. You don't want excess amounts. It's going to break off and it's going to rip off, and you're going to be left with a bare area. I've also tried spider chalk, primo chalk. The spider chalk is not bad. When I am running low or actually what happened was with spider chalk, they put a promotion out where if you just paid shipping, you could buy chalk and it was basically free. So I grabbed a couple blocks of that so that I had just some extra chalk around if I needed it. And recently, after Nationals, I didn't want to open up a new box of my favorite chalk, so I used some of that spider chalk. The Primo chalk that I was sent was very powdery, just like David Horn chalk. And I've also used the Friction Labs chalk, which a lot of people swear by, but to me, it just doesn't feel as good as Mighty Mitts chalk, which is my favorite kind. Comes from Sorinex Exercise Equipment. It's at sorinex.com. I encourage you, if you're going to buy just this, reach out to customer support to get an invoice for that, because what I do, I noticed one time when I was ordering some that the shipping was just like astronomical. So I don't know if they have like this flat shipping that they apply to everything as like a baseline shipping or what, but I was able to get this. I'm able to get this shipped to me for a more reasonable shipping price because I'm familiar with the shipping prices. I've shipped out enough stuff over the years. I kind of have an idea of what like the shipping will be on something this size. So I just write their customer support and they send me an invoice, I pay it, and then they ship it to me. I think this stuff sticks to your hands really well. And I think it creates a nice base layer of chalk on many implements. There's a couple exceptions. So like, let's say you have an implement like the Flask that does not like to take chalk, then you can use, what I'll do then is use just cheapo gym chalk, which is what I keep in a bucket for my lifters. Like if you're just chalking your hands for bench press, deadlift, pull-ups, rows, stuff like that, you don't need to invest in something like Mighty Mitts chalk. This is for grip sport and grip feats. I keep regular gym chalk out here that when I'm doing overhead press, squats, if we're going to chalk our shirt or something like that, then I use gym chalk. Just normal, generic gym chalk. And if you're going to apply a base layer of chalk onto something, then you can take that gym chalk and you can use that to get the base layer. But as far as your performance layer, what I do is I switch back over to Mighty Mitts chalk. I don't know, maybe it's a pet peeve of mine, but I hate it when there's a big block of chalk and some douchebag comes over and like breaks the block of chalk into like crumbles it into powder. Like in our good chalk basin, we keep powder and mini blocks. There's a purpose for having blocks of chalk or chunks of chalk, and then there's a purpose to having powdered chalk. And when I see like a giant pile of powder in a chalk basin at someone else's competition, and then I see someone take a block and like crush it in their hand, I think that's so annoying because there's already powdered chalk in there. It's just laziness and lack of awareness, really. But enough about that, I guess. I've got other instructional stuff on how to chalk things on thegripauthority.com This is the best stuff in my opinion. There does seem to be like a humidity point where this is not quite as effective as Friction Labs chalk, but other than that, this is like foolproof. But on days where it's like this is just not sticking right, and maybe it's because there's something on my hands that I didn't wash off well, I don't know. But on occasion, a very rare occasion, I will use Friction Labs, the unicorn product, whatever it is, unicorn dust or unicorn horns, I'm not sure. I'll use that instead, but like 99% of the time, guys, like no joking, Mighty Mist chalk is where it's at for me. And I think, like I said, this came out in 2013, 2014, I think, and I've had at least one box of this all the time. I'm going to take a block out here. So there's a partial block here, and if you were to take this block and hold it in your hand, and then another block of like any other kind of chalk out there, you'll see like the weight of this is much more dense. So I don't know if they compress it differently, they suck all the air out, they take the filler out. I don't know what they do. You could ask Sorinex. This is an open block because I don't keep like a full block in the chalk basin that we have. I'll break like a third of it off, leave it there, because that's how I chalk optimally. But a full block looks like this. It's shrink wrapped in that cellophane stuff, and it's got the label on it. I'm almost thinking there is another chalk out there that's heavy like this, but I can't remember what it is. I don't know if it was the spider chalk or what. But there's lots of chalk out there you can use, and I swear by this stuff. And but you know, at a competition, if people want to bring their own chalk and stick it in the you know, a lot of times they'll have it in a Tupperware or a Ziploc bag and they'll stick it right in the basin. Use wherever you want to. I'm not going to make people use my chalk. But yeah, I think it's great. I think it sticks well. It stays. So like you don't just put it on there and then over time it wears off. Like it stays really well. If you've seen the 410s pinch videos that I put up recently, those feats were done after NAPALM's Nightmare World Championships. And those plates were chalked like the last time we did feeding. Like I don't even know when that was. It was months ago. And that chalk base is still exactly how it was the last time we used those plates. Those plates were brought down for King Kong, so that's probably when we were doing the feeding. So that was October 28th or something like that. So by December 9th, the plates are still chalky, and it feels rough like sandpaper when you're gripping onto it. And pinching the 410s that day was freaking easy. And I was able to do it left-handed, which my left hand is still injured. My left hand was hurting really bad during that competition, and they came right up. It was like beyond easy. I held them. I think we got it on video, but it wasn't on my camera. So, but I like picked them up. I was like, wow, this is incredibly easy in my head. And then I set them down, and then I did a couple other feats in combo with the 410s, 410 kilos. So that about covers it. If there's any other questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I welcome that. Remember, the activity that you put into my channel feeds the algorithm, and it shows that like people actually watch my stuff, and it will, you know, but the potential's there for YouTube to present my videos in front of other people. So if you don't want to just check out the description box and see the products that I offer that are related to the videos that I'm doing, then you can support the channel for free by subscribing, leaving comments, giving a thumbs up, and by sharing it, which I think there were 3 people that shared one of my recent videos on social media. So thank you very much. That's it. That's going to wrap it up. All the best in your training. Take care.